I'm a tech writer and speaker. I've been writing and working with technology for 25 years. And I also do a lot of writing about how we can work more effectively with technology. I write quite regularly for the Wall Street Journal about technology these days, increasingly about AI. And so whenever I'm working on these projects, I'm always playing around with my own tech tools and then sharing what I'm learning.
That sounds fantastic and a perfect guest for Nailed It, especially since you're also the author of Remote Inc., How to Thrive at Work Wherever You Are. And you also come from what I would consider like a liberal arts background, but also very, very fluent in technology. So we're really curious to see how you merge these two worlds to be more effective in your everyday work and life.
I would show you how I go about using AI as an ideation tool, as a starting point, because, often when I'm trying to think about, what I'm going to write about or speak about, it starts with like me kind of blathering into the AI. If I were working not on a screen, I would probably be starting the blathering right here on my iPhone, because I am obsessed with ChatGPT's voice interface. So, I would normally take my phone, and if I'm starting the process of thinking about a story, I'll go for a walk and just kind of puke into my phone, like not literally, metaphorically, so that I have something to start from. I really like the headphone button because then I can pretend I'm talking to a person. It does a shockingly good job of pretending to be a person. So I've got my own GPT that I created for the purpose of my ideation and strategy process this summer. So I would say, hey, Viv, I'm just trying to think a little bit about my next article that I'm going to write, and I'm going to share it with the nice folks at Nailed It. And what I want to do is write a piece about my obsession with spreadsheets, but in a way that actually helps me think this through. So I'm hoping you can help me come up with some angles or story ideas for writing about doc people versus spreadsheet people. But I want us to think about doing this in a way that actually feeds into my strategy process for the summer. Do you think you could maybe think of, 3 ways this could feed into my strategy process, and then kind of imagine a series of 10 questions you might ask me that would help me think it through? So now my GPT is thinking, and she's going to talk. So she's talking, but at this point, we're going to switch to the screen because that's going to work better. This is a very typical workflow for me. So I go for a walk. This way I actually get some exercise. The dog gets a dog walk. I'm yakking into my phone. You can imagine my neighbors all think I'm nuts at this point, right? Because I'm wandering around the neighborhood. Sometimes I'm actually coding. I'm walking around the neighborhood talking about Python while walking the dog. One of the things I love about GPT is unlike everyone else in my life, she lets me go on as long as I want. We would have this conversation for an hour. I would come back and I would have all these notes from our conversation that would become the basis for an outline, a blog post. Who knows? What I love about this way of working is I can just kind of ramble. I can get a whole bunch of thinking done. Having her ask me questions will get me into kind of a free-flowing state of mind. And then when I come back to my desk, magically I have an outline, which is often, the toughest part. Well, the beauty of doing this is that it's all waiting for me right there on the desktop version of GPT. So here we go. That was me rambling to her, blah, blah, blah. And now she has come up with 3 different angles. I'm just really direct, and I'm like, wow, those are super boring angles. Can you come up with 3 surprising angles on doc versus spreadsheet? I never do what the GPT tells me. But what I do, find helpful is again, it's this creative ideation process. And the other thing I've been thinking about, and I meant to tell Viv this, is I'm obsessed with 2x2s, super obsessed. I want everything to be a 2x2 chart. So what I might say to her is, I've been trying to think of 2x2 where docs versus spreadsheets are one axis. What are 10 pairs for the other? I would say if I have a pet peeve about how people perceive AIs in content creation, it's this idea that the AI is going to write it for you. As you may have noticed, there is no writing happening here. There will be no writing happening here. That's just not I'm so just not into it. It doesn't write well. This isn't about writing. This is about thinking. And I feel there's so often this idea that writers are just, that what we do is about constructing a sentence. Writers are thinkers who just communicate in writing. And so for me, it's the thinking part of the process that is really useful, and being able to do that out loud instead of just in my own head.